I'm gonna show you how to script 3 Instagram reels or ads per day that don't suck and that don't give away you're using AI. And the craziest part with this is that we're gonna be using AI. So to show you I'm not freaking lying, I'm gonna show you that I've been making money with this lately, a lot actually. Well, not crazy amounts, but somehow decent amounts. So let me load this up right here. So as you can see, this is my total balance in COP. This is what one of my clients paid me the other day just by writing 3 or 4 scripts. And same thing with this client, which is 250 USD, but in my local currency. And right here, as you can see, I make 750 every week by doing this. And you're seeing USD and my currency right here. So I'm gonna show you I'm not freaking lying. Let me reload this. So here we go. Again, 750. So I'm making almost, you can say I'm making almost 4K or 4K a month writing this. And so yeah, let me get straight into this, and I'm gonna show you everything that you need to. I'm not gonna do it live with you because this is gonna take me so fucking long, but I'm just gonna guide you. I'm gonna point you in the right direction. Okay, so I have to be extremely honest and upfront. This is not going to work for you if you at least are not good enough at writing copy, if you don't have the proper understanding of and the fundamentals of copywriting. This isn't going to work for you simply because AI is not going to do the job for you, but you're going to use AI to help you do the job faster, which is one of the biggest misconceptions people have with using AI. You believe that it can write copy for you, and it can, but it is not good. Okay? It is just like you trying to dig a hole in your backyard. If you don't know what you're doing, every hole is going to look good to you. But if you just hire someone who's pretty good at doing holes or digging holes, then you're gonna see the improvement. Or if you were somebody who's pretty talented at digging holes, then if you hire somebody who's shit at digging holes, you can tell right away if that person is shit or not based on those holes that they're digging. So yeah, the first thing, of course, that you're gonna need is just at least a basic understanding of your niche. And this is what you're gonna ask your clients. And of course, I know some of you might not have a client yet. Some of you might have one client yet. If you have a client, then just ask them for a brief dream follower template or shit that they can fill out and then give to you. Like in this case right here, this client actually gave me the template. So basically who they are, what their story is, what are they passionate about, what are their goals, dreams, desires, deepest fears, what are their struggles, the ICP, and every single piece of information that you will need to write the copy. Okay, but that's not gonna be it, because you still, as a copywriter, you have to put a lot of time into sharpening your axe. And when I say sharpening your axe, I mean actually digging deeper into the market research. Because if you're a good copywriter, you can tell if you just rated this that this market research or this dream follower isn't a very general and kind of like pretty surface level, in a surface level. So you need to dig deeper. You need to find their actual pains. Okay, you need to know exactly why they want X or Y thing, not just because it says right here. So, for example, what are their deepest fears? So, not trying, this is one of their fears, but you need to be specific. You need to dig deeper. You need to go into, okay, but what does not trying mean? Is it not trying what specifically? Because that's also pretty generic and pretty abstract. Okay, so I'm just gonna close this, and this. And yeah, so right here, what it did is I took the market research that I had and I pasted this prompt. Okay, you can just pause and read it and copy it yourself. Do some work. Don't be freaking lazy and actually put in the work yourself. Okay, now what happens if you actually don't have this? Don't worry. So instead of just saying like, hey, here's a brief market research, then just say like, hey, I want to do market research because I want to understand my audience's pains, dreams, goals, fears, things I believe are true, but I want you to analyze it. And please skip this part because there's nothing to analyze. But yeah, so I need you to conduct the market research because I want to understand my audience. It says deepest pain, stream, goals, and fears. And that's it. So you send it, and then you're just going to actually paste this right here that says, okay, this is just situational. But basically, what you could also do is, let me actually show you with a few more examples that I have over here. Perfect. Here we go. So as you can see, I didn't have a market research here at all. So I wrote this prompt and I pasted it here, but basically it says, you are my experienced direct response copywriter, and I'm trying to do market research. I'm trying to understand these things. So give me a prompt that I can use for that. And he gave me the whole thing for me to just use into ChatGPT and actually make it do the market research for me, which I'm about to show you right now. So in case you're wondering why I stopped using ChatGPT, honestly, I feel like Claude is better and more, it's just like, it's, I don't know how to explain this, but it just writes copy better. And I believe it goes more in depth than ChatGPT. So that's why. So as you can see, just continuing with this, I pasted this here. I sent the pre-market research that I had. And then I just send this to PDFs that basically teach it how to do market research. That, by the way, if I remember, I'm going to leave in the description of this video. If I don't remember, then I'm not going to put it because I'm going to forget, but just comment on the video and I'll send them over. So great work. And right here are the things that are on a surface level. For example, not trying. What is specifically? And why is not trying so important for these people? What is time, wasting time doing the wrong things? What wrong things? And why is this important? Like you see, I'm trying to go deeper every single time that I'm not sure what that means, because it might be general, it might be vague or abstract or whatever. So then it just tells me exactly the things that I asked for. And right here is where if you're using just the first prompt that I showed you on that ChatGPT tab, that you're not pasting any research, what you need to do with Claude is copy that prompt that thing gave you and select research and select web research and then paste it, and it's going to start doing the market research for you. Okay, I'm just going to explain that to you right now, but just in case you have any questions, those of you who don't have a market research yet. So right here, I say like, hey, great, now that you properly understand how to conduct research, I want you to create a full prompt for Claude. For Claude's new tool called Deep Research, and he gave me one prompt. So this is the prompt right here. So what I did is I copied this from here all the way to the bottom, and then I pasted it here. As you can see, I pasted it, but I made sure that I had the research and the web research options checked before. And once I did that, it asked me 3 questions right here. So it asked me the geographic focus, if we should just prioritize US-based people, race, distance, sweet spot, any specific races or events. What you have to do right here is just answer the questions, and then it's gonna start doing research. Okay, it's gonna start going into Reddit and many other web pages or websites that contain this information. As you can see, it took 15 minutes for this, but the information that it actually gave me was so good. Take a look at this deep market research. So right here, it gave me a summary of the things that this audience and this market are suffering from. And what I did is I downloaded this and I went to Docs and I pasted all the information in here. And what I did, because you need and you must understand the market better than they understand themselves, is I started reading this slowly. I took my time and I started highlighting things that were interesting for me to experience this. And I did that throughout the whole thing until I got what I needed. So you must read, don't be freaking lazy, because you actually need to read. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to understand the audience. So then I say, hey, this is gold now based on this market research. Give me angle ideas I can use on an extremely effective Instagram reel, carousel, or even an ad. And it started giving me some. At the same time that it was giving me, because it took like probably 10 minutes to give me these ideas, I went into Instagram and I looked for competitors that had viral content or that had clips, videos with very good views, to kind of see what they were doing and what are the topics that were working. And I just literally downloaded the videos. I wrote whatever they were saying on these videos, and then I upload them into here for the idea. So take a look at this right here. The things that were not clear to me in the market research, I was asking questions. So I went back to the market research. I highlighted something, and then I said explain. And that's what this thing right here is about. Where is it? Right here. So can you explain this in more detail? Because there's some words, there's some sentences, or there's some way that this niche speaks that I'm not familiar with. And you need to be familiar. You need to speak to them, which is another great and very important concept in copywriting. If you don't talk like them, they're not going to actually pay attention to whatever you have to say. So it started giving me the explanation of what this means in depth, and it was giving me examples. So explain what big and fade means for this audience, because if you're right for fitness, for a fitness niche, this is different. This is not having like having muscle or having abs. This is something different. It's actually being in a physical state where their legs and all their body is working properly all the time. So once I understood and clarified all the questions or all the concepts that I needed clarification on, I moved on. So that's exactly what I'm going to look for right here. So based on all these market research and clarifications, what are the biggest and most common problems, pains, fears, false beliefs, and even goals and dreams that we could target or speak to? When I say biggest or most common, I mean the ones that repeat themselves so many times. So it started giving me some right here, like the confidence gap. And if you actually open the market research, this one right here, you're going to see that that's one of their pains. Fear of, right here, fear of identity loss and fear of wasted effort. Where is the fear of, yeah, so fear of, I don't remember where it was, but it was somewhere. I remember reading. Loneliness, generic training plans. Yeah. I honestly don't remember where it was, but I went back to the market research and I made sure that whatever it was telling me was actually accurate. And the best way you can know what is the biggest problem or the biggest pain is go and do some market research on your own as well. Go on Reddit, go on Quora, go everywhere, even Amazon reviews, and whatever the pain that you see repeats itself the most, that's one of the biggest problems. And that's how I knew. So what I did with this is I took a look at every single one of these pains or problems, and I actually targeted my messaging towards that. So what are the things, activities that most of these runners do and can relate to? I want to speak to a broader audience inside these runners because, for example, blowout pattern and then the finish in a medical tent is something that only people that have run a big race can relate to. But training alone, for example, something a vast majority of runners can relate to. And then it started giving me things that this audience does in a day-to-day basis. Because whenever you can just tell them like, hey, I know you're doing this right now, then they're going to pay attention to you. For example, if you're a copywriter, if you're just sending outreach, I can tell you like, hey, you've been sending outreach, but nobody's replying to your outreach. And you might be thinking it's because you don't have the right outreach script, but it is not. It's simply that you are not good enough yet. And your copy sucks. This copy you've been sending as a free value outreach sucks. That's why you're getting ignored. Stuff like that. So once I took a look at all of this, I read through, then I started actually thinking, okay, so let me take a look at this right here. And based on these ideas that it was giving me, I started making my own. So I really like number 4, the easy day that doesn't feel easy. For example, where is it? The easy day right here. The easy day that doesn't feel easy. Where is it? I don't remember where I saw it. The easy day that doesn't feel easy. Well, anyway, I don't remember where I saw this. The easy day. Hold on, I need to go back to show you all of this because I don't want to gatekeep anything. Right here. The easy day that doesn't feel easy, trying to run easy, but constantly speeding up. Okay, so that's one thing that a lot of people do. And also, I was taking a look at competitors and I see that's one of the things that they were talking about. And it was working great. So I just needed to double down on that since it's working pretty good, right? So I said that. And then I said, I've seen a few carousels or reels with this angle, and that's something a lot of runners can relate to. Give me more ideas like this that are very common among runners and that they see themselves doing every time, but that they're not actually helping them in any way, hindering their progress. So again, I'm going with one of their assumptions or their beliefs. And if you've been following me for some time, you might remember I always speak about the customer bubble. You need to start in the customer bubble. You must start in that self-sealing bubble because that's a reality. So if you target any of the things that are in our bubble, then you're more likely to pay attention to that thing, right? So it's just like saying, hey, or if you say, hey, and they say your name, you're more likely to pay attention. So that's what it means. So yeah, I just kept brainstorming a little bit here. It was giving me some angles, more ideas, and I finally picked one that I really liked, and it was right here. These are gold. The reason I'm asking for this is because I need to understand what my audience self-sealing bubble is, what I was just telling you about. Think of the self-sealing bubble as the reality where you're standing, but it is strictly built upon your beliefs, experiences, pains, fears, dreams, and anything else that only you live and believe is true. And then it says like, okay, I understand. So here are the things that they have lived, like more effort should equal more results. And I'm going to show you why this is so important. Oh, well, I'm going to just tell you now. Simply because, like, for example, one of the angles that I went with is, hey, if you get, like, if your legs die after mile 50, which is one of the things that they have experienced based on the market research, I'm not making this up, that's one of their pains. So where is it? Let me actually find it and I'll be back. Take a look at this right here. So problem, they blow up pattern. They train well, but race poorly. So run well for 40 or 60 miles and then completely fall apart. So this is exactly what I was talking about. So again, now that you know this, like, hey, if your legs are dying on you after mile 50, then it's because you are running your slow days fast. And again, this is one of the things that is too niche. You probably won't understand what this means. But then you can just actually make this make sense with this thing that they think is true. One of their beliefs, more effort should equal more results. So if I run faster every single day, that means I will run faster always, which is not true. So you can say something like, hey, if your legs are dying on you after mile 50, it's not because you're not fit. It's because you're actually probably running your slow days too fast. Look, you've been told that more effort means equals more results. And that's true, but not for this specific case. And here's why. And then you back that up. Okay? So that's basically what I'm telling you. This is so important. So I took a look at every single one of these beliefs, every single one of these things that they've tried on a daily basis. And then everything kind of like started clicking for me. And I was like, okay, I kind of like where this is going. Then I kept writing more and more and more and more. And this is important. You need to read a lot. Then I say, okay, great. Now that you know all these pains or all these pain points, I need you to keep them very present for what we're going to do next. Please recap all of the information we've been talking about. It recapped. And then I submitted a lot of freaking screenshots from competitors. And I say, hey, now I need your help writing an Instagram carousel ad targeting my audience blah blah blah, more information, and then it started giving me the things that it was doing good, what it could be better, and what I said was, okay, now that you understand what's working great, what's not for our competitors, let's write our own carousel before we go into the training. And I actually pasted my client's personal story. Okay, so where is it? I kind of forgot. I think I scrolled way too down. Okay, great. So I said, I must be clear. There's not a specific length, as long as it is not boring. And I said this, and then I say, okay, here's my story, and that's exactly what I pasted here. And now it understood everything, and then based on the ideas or the angles that I gave me, it actually started like giving me questions or angles as well. So I say I want to go with the confidence gap angle based on the market research we conducted not long ago. This is one of the things a lot of people struggle with. I answered the questions, and then it started pulling case studies from all of this. And then it started writing the whole carousel, which it sucked. I have to be completely honest with you. This carousel sucked so bad. So that's why I'm telling you, you must understand copywriting first. So when I understood that this sucked, I started giving feedback, like if I was his copywriting coach. Like, hey, let's start with the hook. The hook is lacking that strong emotion, blah, blah, blah. I started giving the full feedback. That's, again, why I'm telling you, you must be good with this. And once I gave the feedback, I told it exactly what I was looking for. Like, for example, so what I need is this. And I gave it an example. I lost 53 kilograms by eating more bread. You see how that's outrageous and disruptive? Because that's one of the beliefs people have. Like, you can only lose weight by eating less and exercising more. But what if you can lose a lot of weight by eating more, right? So, same thing. I used all of this for the whole carousel. And what I did after he gave me the full thing is I did exactly this. I wanted to Google Docs. I created a new one. I paste everything, and I start taking a look, and I start dissecting section by section. So just like I did with the hook. So I would just go like, okay, what's good? What's not good? Okay, the specificity is not good. It's lacking specificity. It's saying like, hey, if you're just running, fuck yourself, something like that. And I'm like, okay, but who is running, and who are you telling to fuck themselves? Be specific. Who is running? Oh, is it runners? Is it ultra runners? Is it marathon runners? And why are you telling them to fuck themselves? Be specific, okay? And this is the analogy that I always like to tell people whenever I can explain this to people who come to me for advice, or even some clients, is think of you as a copywriter, you are a cook, okay? So let's pretend this is you as a cook. And somebody comes to your kitchen and asks, hey, what are we having for breakfast? And you're just gonna say, we're having fruit. Okay? Now this person is gonna think of, okay, he said fruit, I believe he's gonna serve bananas today. That's what we're gonna have for breakfast. Then another person walks in and he overheard the conversation. So he's going to think apples because he overheard me saying fruit. But when the breakfast comes, I'm going to be serving watermelon, okay, with oranges. So now these people are going to be pretty fucked up because they thought one thing, but it was another thing. And now they're going to be disappointed, okay? But with copy, you cannot be abstract and you cannot be general. You must be specific because, like in this case, people are gonna think whatever they want to think. And same thing with your copy. So if you say running, this could be talking to a lot of people. Like almost all of us in our lives have run at least once. So are you talking to corporate runners? Are you talking to marathon runners? Are you talking to gamer runners? Who are you talking to? So whenever you try to speak to everyone, you speak to no one, okay? You must understand this. So you must be specific with your messaging, Otherwise, people are not going to pay attention to you, and the messaging is not going to be as effective as if you're specific. I go back to the example. If I call you by hey, you might look at me or you might not. But if I say hey in your name, in this case, let's pretend your name is Albert, and I say, hey Albert, you're going to turn around and look, see who's calling you. Same thing with this. So you need to dissect section by section by section, okay? So the best framework and that I've always used for all of the reels that I'm scripting, because I believe is the best one, and this is something, this is my personal opinion, okay? I'm not saying that this is the best fucking one in the world and that you have to use this, but this is the one that I've been using and it works wonders, which is body. And then you go with the problem, then you would go with the explanation, and you would go with the shifting beliefs, and then you would just end with the call to action. So what does this look like, in case you're wondering? So I'm just gonna give you verbal examples here for the sake of the video, because it's almost 30 minutes. So body, I'm just gonna say, hey, if you are, I'm just gonna go with the fitness example because this is the easiest one for everybody to understand. So I go, if you're binge eating at night, you are sick or you have a terrible disease. And now that's disruptive. That's a pattern interrupt. I'm sorry, this is not just body. I forgot the most important part is hook. Hook, body, problem, explanation. So hook. The hook must, when possible, make it controversial and disruptive, because that's the only way you're gonna get attention. So I'm saying like, hey, if you're fucking eating at night, or if you're binge eating at night, you are fucking sick. You have a disease. Now people are gonna be like, oh, I binge eat at night. Am I sick? What do you mean I'm sick? I need to watch this. And then you go with the body. Okay, so for example, hey, if you binge eat at night. Sorry, somebody was calling me on my phone. So I was saying, if you're somebody who binge eats at night, now I got your attention, right? So then you're gonna say, you can start with you could even sometimes mix these two things together and make it look like the body. For example, hey, if you're binge eating at night, you have a terrible disease your doctors don't want you to know about, or your doctors are hiding from you. Look, most people, and by the way, this, when I say a problem, this can also mean belief, this can also mean pain, this could also mean dream, this could also mean anything, honestly, at this point. So you can say like, hey, if you're doing this, you might think it's because, I don't know, you're stressed. One of the things that people think they binge eat is because you're stressed or because you're anxious, but it is not. It's because you have X or Y thing, right? So I basically merge these two things together. So I'm telling them like, hey, this is not, you're not doing this thing because you believe this is this other thing, but because something else. And that is where you go into the explanation. So for example, in the case of the runners, I'd say something like, hey, if your legs were dying on after 50 miles, it's not because you're not fit or something like that, right? So it's because something else. It's probably because on your easy days, you're running so fucking fast because you believe you're not training hard enough. Because throughout all of your life, they have made you believe, your family, your friends, whoever has made you believe that hard work equals more results. And that's true, but not in this case. Like I just talked about these two things right here. Okay? So hook, body, problem, belief, pain, whatever it is. And then I'm going to explain. So, and not in this case. Let me explain. So this research shows that the fastest and best performing athletes spend 80% of their time under low stress situations. And I would just add a screenshot or whatever it is. And then you're kind of like also shifting their beliefs. So you need to then go here to shifting their beliefs. So what you need to do instead is stop running your slow days fast and instead start taking your time having slow runs that seem boring, but that's how you actually are gonna finish strong whenever it matters, whenever you need to. So if you want to know X or Y, or if you want to get this benefit, then follow me, click the link, whatever it is, call to action, right? So hopefully this makes sense. It's kind of hard to make this in the go, but just rewatch this video as many times as you need to, honestly. So yeah, that's basically what you need to do. You need to dissect all the information and you need to start putting it here inside this framework. And what you need to aim for is, of course, there's not such a thing as a long video. I'm sorry, there's not such a thing as a boring video. I fucked up. I'm sorry, guys. I'm kind of fucked up right now. So there's not such a thing as a long video, but a boring one. Same thing with copy. There's not such a thing as long copy, just boring copy. So make the videos as packed as you can and make them as fast and concise as possible. So if you're gonna say every day, then you can say the same thing in a shorter way, daily, right? So if you're gonna say very hard, you can say the same thing, just saying tough or rough or fucking insane, whatever you want to say. But as you can see, hopefully you understand with this example. So that's how you actually script a lot of reels and a lot of ads pretty fast, okay? And I know this video is kind of short for me to go in depth over everything, but just with this information you got in this video, you can start scripting. Just know, and again, I cannot stress this enough, and I need to make this fucking huge so you understand. The magic of the copy is in the editing, okay? Again, the magic of the copy is in the freaking editing. So don't just write one thing once and expect to have insanely good results. You must write one thing once or many times, take a break, go do something, come back and take a look at it. See if you actually like it. Read it out loud. Think and ask yourself, does this actually make sense? And if not, just improve it. Also, one important thing you must know whenever you're scripting for any niches, speak like them, okay? So, I almost forgot about this, but in ChatGPT, I like to do the following. I go in and put this prompt. Give me a prompt I can paste into ChatGPT's new deep research tool to find the jargon, words, vernacular, phrases that people that run marathons, and you can put right here whatever your niche is, to speak to their close friends and running partners. And it's gonna give you one. So what you need to do is copy it, make sure you have deep research enabled, paste it, send it, and it's gonna ask you a few questions, 3 questions. Answer those questions, and then it's gonna take some time. It took 12 minutes. But if you actually take a look at this, you have a lot of freaking text, words, expressions, sentences that people say. And what you can do is go into Claude, ChatGPT, whatever tool you're using, in this case Claude, and whenever you're done, only when you are done, okay? Only when you are done writing the full script, then you're gonna say like, okay, this is the final script. I want you to rewrite it using the words that they use to speak to their close friends. Here's a database of words, sentences that you can use to speak like them. Boom, send them both and it's gonna rewrite it. And make sure that it does actually sound like them. So if you learned something with this, subscribe, leave a comment below, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.